Hello. Oh man, it's just not. I'm just responding to something real quick, so it takes a couple minutes for people to jump in. So I'm just gonna let me focus on responding to this, and then I'll kick things off. Morning. Man, I should have probably went and got some coffee. I've been up for about an hour and a half, but did not want to get out of bed till this now. It's really chilly, and it was really warm. There's a lot that I want to talk about, but I just have to respond to this real quick. But I have to do everything through this translator. Top of the morning to everybody. I'm almost there. Ugh. Yeah, using the RedNote app has been a lot of fun. Let's kick everything off with that. It's been a lot of fun. I've been having a very positive experience. Oh man. Ugh. I've had a very positive experience with it. Sorry. And I'm having a tremendous... I know, it's disgusting. I've had a very positive experience from it. And I think for me, it's like, there's not a bunch of sex. There's not a bunch of things that are just like here's the thing, man. I'm not blind. Everything in the world has its issues. Everything has its pluses and its minuses. But as an environment, man, I feel better when I use that app for entertainment versus a lot of the American ones. I still like Twitter. That's kind of how I get my news of what's going on, like, and what's relevant to where I live and stuff. But, you know, for the most part, as far as entertainment goes, I've been having a really good time with RedNote. Been connecting with people and stuff, and it just feels really good. Kind of see a lot of misconceptions about the world, and it's really just funny just to kind of see how they react to us. Like, yeah, that's like the most interesting thing. It's because, like, the way that we react to one another is very interesting. There's like a sense of togetherness that's on there that, like, people are like more collectively pleasant to each other when you compare it to how we are in America. Once again, not saying that there's not their issues, not saying like they could have their own variation of what we have as trolls and stuff, you know, and it just comes with the territory, but of just being online, you know. But for the most part, it's not bad. It's really nice. It's very pleasant. And that's just because, like, we're so used to so much extreme stuff that we see on, like, Instagram and, like, and X and, you know, like, even TikTok. Like, here's the thing, man. I felt like TikTok was completely designed for people to, well, the way that a lot of people used it was to inflate their own egos and to inflate their own fucking pocketbooks, right? So, because of that, you know, I always had, like, a negative, like, feeling towards TikTok, which, you know, the movement that is coming where people are, like, flocking and, you know, giving an FU to Meta, giving an FU to our government, and kind of just going where we want to go. I mean, it's very cool, you know? And it's because I think that we all collectively realize that the whole guise of national security is just a bunch of dog shit, you know? Because fucking American companies, Meta has been doing this shit for years. They've gotten sued for it, you know? And the government works in tandem with these companies, and they buy their stock and all this shit, and it's like, well, no, we want no part of it. The whole system's broken, you know? It's like there's so many other things in our country that need to be addressed, but instead of addressing the things that we're talking about and the things that matter to us, you want to ban an app, and the only thing that's come from this app is good. You know, like, yeah, like, there are people that don't like it. There are people that think it's cringe. And trust me, I feel the same way. A lot of this shit I see on TikTok is cringe, you know? But at the end of the day, man, it's like, it's brought people together. It's allowed people to earn some extra scratch, you know? Like, yeah, it may not be for everybody, you know? It may not tickle everyone's fancy, you know? But it's kind of got me feeling a certain type of way. And I'm trying to, like, come up in my head with how do I discuss this. Yeah, I changed the title of the stream, so there's probably not going to be a ton of people here, which is fine. But the way that I kind of am starting to understand it as I'm going through, when you look, like, because I like history, right? And World War II is a very interesting era because everything that we've learned about it, about that time era, about what our, you know, grandfathers and stuff did, like, they went out to defend freedom and liberty, and not just in America, but all over the world. And they went to go to, we fought with Germany, we fought with Japan, we fought with all of these countries that at the time were doing such terrible things in the world. And, you know, that part of our history, learning about it, it makes you very proud, you know? It's like, man, we came in and we saved the day, you know? Like, it gives us that kind of perspective on the world. And so then intrinsically learning about that our entire lives, that's what we feel. We feel like, oh, man, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for us, the world would have ended. Like, if it wasn't for us, like, look how awesome we are, you know? And then we're so used to, like, hearing that the outside world is like, oh, it's so bad over there, it's so terrible. And then you would think that as technology's gotten better that we would bridge a lot of gaps and connect with one another. But we really haven't. We've kind of, like, been stuck in our own bubbles, and we have these crazy echo chambers where we just kind of sitting there, and then finally, like, with us just being sick of our government and us being like upset with how the world is working, and it's like, enough is enough, we're done, like. And then we want to have a little bit of fun. We want to find something positive in our lives, and the government wants to take that away while not dealing with our natural disasters, not dealing, with our failing infrastructure, not dealing with the things that we actually care about. That's like the hardest part of all of that, is that it's like, of all the things in the world, for you guys to get upset about and be petty about, it's an app of all things, because you guys can't have main control of it, and that's what scares you so much. And it's exhausting, but basically it makes me kind of reflect on different times in human history, at least according to our own history, and how in the history that we have of the world, that, okay, so I remember hearing about Soviet Russia, right? And it was, there was, you had the communists, and Americans never really liked communists, but we fought with the communists in World War II against the fascists in Germany, and so that was a time where working together with communists kind of made sense. But then we started, as time went on, the Soviet Union kind of went its own way. It kind of was, it was focused on the party and the dictatorship as opposed to the people, and a lot of people under Stalin were hurt. But then after Stalin, and then moving, I can't remember all the names of all the leaders, but like post-Stalin leading up into Gorbachev, up until the Soviet Union fell, basically they had been making strides towards capitalism, right? And that's kind of like they were over time becoming a little bit more okay with the West and introducing some capitalistic things. But by and large, for the most part, it was still very, very communist. And the way it worked is a lot of, the workers would live their normal lives, but then, the ultra wealthy, they had people that were in charge of entire lots of industry. There was land that was, land and property and ownership of stuff was all done by the government. So then when capitalism came in, right before the Soviet Union fell, all the government officials, all the oligarchs, they were all scrambling to kind of gain whatever wealth that they could once their government structure was over with, and they ushered in, a new era, with a heavier focus on capitalism. So everyone was sucking up every little bit that they could before, the wall came down. And I feel like that's what's going on in the U.S., and it's kind of been that way at least since COVID, COVID kind of opened a lot of people's eyes. Me, like, I was far more conservative, I don't like that liberal hippie woke stuff. Still don't, but economically, I'm looking like, man, I mean, they're doing pretty well. I mean, yeah, not everyone is like of the same class structure, but for the most part, like, even the poorer areas of China look a lot more inviting than the poorer areas in America. And it just opens your eyes. It's like, man, what the hell? And it makes sense that they're like this as a people, because they have a long history of togetherness and unity as a nation. So it would make the collectivism make sense for them. Whereas, in the West, we're very, very individualistic. But yeah, it's a kind of a smaller stream. I think I might go, just because the nature of the... Anyway, hi, howdy. No, I don't know if I'm gonna go. I don't know. It's. I named the stream something different, so I'm just not used to not having the momentum of people coming in and asking questions and stuff. But I'm just sharing my take on the whole. What is it called? The whole RedNote thing. I have been having a tremendous amount of fun with it. It'll just be interesting to see where things go. All right, Mace Valor is gonna bounce. Bye. Oh, and we also glorious above Mace Valor signing off.